no, the way that I'm able to send this recording through invisibility, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. The way we're able to do a lot of shit. GPS, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth. All that is because of one badass woman of history. Sorry, Herstory. Excuse me. Hedy, or Heidi. I'm sorry, it's Heidi, right? Not Hades. Hedy Lamarr. I learned about her first from Bad Friends because Andrew Santino mentioned her on Bad Friends to Bobby Lee. And then I was just like, I knew I had to do an issue of Badass Women of Herstory with this woman. Because where would this world be without Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and GPS? I mean, GPS makes everything so much easier. I used to have to deliver pizzas with no GPS, and it was crazy. She was one of the most glamorous stars of the black and white film era, Hedy Lamarr. She was also one of the minds behind an invention that provided the foundation for GPS, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi technology. Austrian-American actress Hedy Lamarr was also a gifted mathematician and engineer. All right, she was an actress. All right, so that's the arts. But she was also a mathematician, engineer. That's the scientist. And when World War II broke out, she wanted to make a contribution to the war effort by improving torpedo technology. What made her want to do that? I don't know. I guess because she was so smart and she knew she could. So she worked with a musician, another artist and composer named George Anthiel, and together they developed the idea of, with his help, Lamarr developed the idea of frequency hopping. And I can slightly try to comprehend what that means. But because of that, which it would encrypt torpedo control signals, preventing enemies from jamming them and sending the torpedoes off course. So that's the original. That's what it was. It would encrypt torpedo signals, control signals, preventing enemies from jamming them and sending the torpedo. Okay. So it would keep our torpedoes safe and we could still control them and they would not be able to control them. Although Lamarr and Anthiel were granted a patent for the idea in 1942, the U.S. Navy ignored their technology for 20 fucking years. Damn. I mean, imagine where we would have been, where we could have been already. Finally putting it to use during the 1962 blockade of Cuba. Since then, though, Lamarr's spread spectrum technology has become the foundation for the portable devices that we use every day, for which he was inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame in 2014. Bro, how long have we been using this technology? I guess 2014 is a pretty good time period for people to be like, whoa, you really helped us out. Lamarr, Hedy, born Hedwig, Eva, okay, that's Jesus Christ. She has a Harry Potter name, Hedwig. That was Harry Potter's owl. So, yeah, she had to change her name if she wanted to be an actress. So, let's see. So, her real name is Hedwig Eva, cool name, Maria, cool name, Keisler. She was born either September or November of 1914, and she died January 19, 2000. And she lived 19 days in the new millennium. She was an Austrian-born American actress, inventor, and film producer. She appeared in 30 films over a 28-year career. That's a film. She made a movie every fucking year. In a couple years, she made 2 movies. In Europe and the United States, and co-invented an early version of frequency hopping, spread spectrum communication, originally intended for torpedo guidance. Lamarr was born in Vienna, Austria-Hungary, and acted in a number of Austrian, German, and Czech films in her brief early film career, including the controversial Ecstasy, which came out in 1933. In 1937, she fled from her husband, a wealthy Austrian ammunition manufacturer, secretly moving to Paris and then on to London. Interesting. There she met Louis B. Mayer, head of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, or MGM Studios, who we just talked about last time. I think who was trying to buy MGM? Amazon, I think. Who offered her a Hollywood movie contract where he began promoting her as the world's most beautiful woman. She became a star through her performance in Algiers, which was in 1938, her first American film. She starred opposite Clark Gable in Boomtown and Comrade X, both in 1940, and a bunch of names that I don't know. Other titles of movies from MGM. She didn't like being typecast, so she co-founded a new production studio and starred in its films. The Strange Woman, Dishonored Lady, and probably her best-known role was playing Delilah in Cecil B. DeMille's Samson and Delilah, which came out in 1949. She also acted on television before the release of her final film, The Female Animal, 1958. She was honored with the star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which we talked about earlier, which used to be a glamorous location, but that was in 1960. Incredible. So she said, fuck that. She didn't like how they were making her. Because, alright. So the titles, you can get like Lady of the Tropics was one of the movies she had to be in for MGM. I assume that in Crossroads and White Cargo, she was probably, like a damsel in distress. She was also borrowed by Warner Brothers for The Conspirators and by RKO for Experiment Perilous. And so, like, those movies, I'm assuming she was being used as, like, a sex symbol. So that's really cool that she made her own production company and made her own movies. That's fire. At the beginning of World War II, Lamarr and composer George Antheil developed a radio guidance system using frequency hopping spread spectrum technology for Allied torpedoes, intended to defeat the threat of jamming by the Axis powers. She also helped improve aircraft aerodynamics for Howard Hughes while they dated during the war. Yo, I saw that movie. I don't know if they mentioned her, Hedy Lamarr. They should have mentioned her contribution to Wi-Fi and shit. But maybe Wi-Fi wasn't that. I don't know. But what was that movie with the Aviator? Interesting. So she also helped improve aircraft aerodynamics. Beast in a good way. Although the U.S. Navy did not adopt Lamarr, that's like we said earlier, they did not start using the tech until 1957. Various spread spectrum techniques are incorporated into Bluetooth tech and are similar to methods used in legacy versions of Wi-Fi. Recognition of the value of their work resulted in the pair being posthumously they were dead when they were inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame. Goodness. So because of her, this whole thing is possible. Incredible. To Hedy Lamarr. Real name Hedwig. That's a dope name. Her real name was Hedwig. Eva Maria something else. Keisler.